Hello, and welcome to Gamers Health, the Friday night installment of the Tavern Chat podcast, where myself, Eric Tenkar, and my wife, Rachel,
Hello.
we talk about health, physical, mental, emotional. A lot of it is going to kind of, be directed at physical health because as gamers, uh, as a general rule, and there are many exceptions that prove the rule, but in general, gamers often have medical conditions. Uh, Type 2 diabetes is not uncommon. I have it. Obesity, high blood pressure. Heck, we're all getting older in age. If you're listening to this podcast, you are probably between the ages of, I believe, 34 and 60. That's it's like, I don't know, 84, 85% of the listening base. So we are not the young athletes that we were. If we ever were.
Yeah, I've never been.
Well, neither have I.
Physically competent, like with sports or anything.
But Rach was always a good dart player, so hey. Hey, you were honored.
That I stumbled into.
That's okay.
Literally.
Whatever works. So it's going to be a bit of a hex crawl or a hodgepodge of an episode tonight because we have a couple of bases we want to cover. First things first that I want to cover is a week ago Wednesday, so about a week and a half ago, my endocrinologist gave me Freestyle Libre 2. And basically, I'm a type 2 diabetic, trying to get my blood sugar under control. And before, I was pricking my fingers 4 times a day. And that shit fucking hurts. And yeah, you build up kind of like a callus hoop, and you gotta just go in deeper, right? To just make fucking still hurt. And rotate your fingers, and there's nothing fun about taking your blood sugar. So with the Freestyle Libre 2, and I believe the original Freestyle Libre, and there's other ones out there on the market.
Freestyle.
Yeah. You get a patch, so it looks like you're trying to quit smoking. That goes onto your upper arm.
It's a needle that goes under the skin?
Yeah, but I didn't feel it when the nursing assistant, I guess, put it on me a week and a half ago. And I've been tracking my blood sugar with it. And I'm going to say something that I find very interesting. When I was tracking my blood sugar, just taking it 4 times a day, which generally means before meals, right? And it would be, all over the place. This system takes your readings. You're going to scan it and find out what your reading is pretty much at that moment. But it takes an automatic reading throughout your day. So you can have a graph that'll show you how.
So even when it's not on your radar,
right? It's still
running in the background.
Right. If you go too far from it, it'll go beep, beep. Yes. Like, where the fuck are you? Get closer. So I'm looking at this, and my average blood glucose from when I was taking it 4 times a day, the app that I was using. I was usually averaging between like 128 and 131, 132 over a week-long period. It would fluctuate, sometimes higher, sometimes less. My average glucose over the last 10 days is 115. Okay.
Woo, woo.
Now, that being said, it was actually a little bit lower average until I had Chinese food for lunch today, and even with brown rice, it shot my blood glucose up to about 184, 185. That was lunch was around 3:00 late in the day. Now here we are. We had a very late dinner. We're recording this at 9:30, so I ate about an hour and a half ago. Very low carb bread, and with grilled cheese. And my blood glucose is 100. So I'm obviously seeing that even brown rice will spike me more than I had expected. And I find a problem with something like Chinese food is that I can't spread the eating out over I don't know, an hour and a half. I can do that with Taco Bell, and it won't really spike me much. But this definitely spiked me. But my blood sugar is dropped about on average 15 points because now I can monitor it and see what spikes it and what doesn't. I I suspected that red wine lowered my blood sugar, and red wine lowers my blood sugar, which is nice. So these are the little things. If you're a type 2 diabetic, I certainly, if your insurance or your prescription coverage will get you this at less than retail, I certainly recommend it and suggest it for my own personal use. I'm not a medical professional, but it's a lot better than finger sticking.
Very nice.
Well, thank you.
Congratulations. I'm glad you have that thing.
Thank you. Now, Rach also went to the endocrinologist and had her.
The same endocrinologist. And they were all trying to work it out. Oh, so are you guys married? Yeah, because we were trying to figure it out. Yep.
No, it's not a common last name, so.
So yeah. And for me, it was good. I haven't been to the endocrine in more than a year, like probably a year and a half. And so I found out that because they did True Blood, and so I found out that I have lowered my A1C, and I still need to try to lower it some more because I guess, and I think it's like just under the cusp of actually being
pre-diabetic.
Yeah.
So she's in the high end of normal.
5.6 or something.
Yeah.
I think it was like maybe 5.8 or 5.9 or something.
Okay.
When I had my last blood work done.
Now, part of that is because of my health issues, congestive heart failure, type 2 diabetes at A1C of like 9.5 when I was hospitalized back in May. I do most of our meal prep, most of our cooking, most of our shopping for snacks. And I have a great awareness of sodium content and what's got sugar and high glycemic carbs. There are carbs that you can get that aren't high glycemic, and it's something to keep an eye out for. But as I've said in the past, to prevent you from feeling that urge or need to binge eat on stuff, sometimes it's good to spend extra on healthy alternatives. My low carb bread isn't cheap, and we got it on sale for the Black Friday sale last week. Probably paid about $7.50 a loaf. Got 4 loaves, and I freeze them.
But it's well worth the expense of it.
Yes, because
we're able to enjoy, the texture of bread and all that good stuff. But meanwhile, being safe, like we're both trying to lose weight, and it can be challenging,
Yeah, I mean, I am 5'9", and my weight prior to congestive heart failure, where I hit 292 with the water retention, but my weight prior to that was like a low of 235, but generally speaking, I was probably around 245, knocking on 250. Now my weight ranges from about 211 to 214, depending on the morning. That's a great change. Just say I probably lost about 30 pounds. I'd like to lose another 20 to 30 pounds from where I'm at. I've hit a plateau. And obviously I'm going to have to
I think we need to also change up some things too. Like we definitely I know I'll speak for myself.
What?
I definitely like my Pitos and my crunchies and, the sweets and things like that. And, I have to remember that they bring calories and, while they're less damaging, I need to control it better, you
Right.
know.
Now,
Because I'm just a few pounds away from being normal obese instead of morbidly obese. I started at 260 at my highest weight a few years ago. Then I went to Weight Watchers, stopped, and then, now
with COVID.
with COVID. But yeah, sometimes you just kind of go in and out.
Right.
Depending on just whatever's going on in your life or what you're doing or not doing. And so, yeah, so now, for my height, once I break 215, I'll be able to, just be obese. And you have to have goals in this life,
And you do. And folks, let's...
because how do you go from being like morbidly obese to being, oh, I'm normal weight now. So
right, there's a path. There's a path.
The next step will be overweight, just plain overweight.
And folks, here's the thing: we're doing this together. Mm-hmm. We're joking about it right now, but this is a path that we are.
But it's very
walking
real.
on together.
Yeah.
Okay. We do home chef for 3 of our meals a week. They make some very good meals that are carb conscious. They're not necessarily low carb, but they aren't huge on the pasta or the rice. They have they actually use rice, cauliflower a lot of times. Some of the meals.
Yeah, it's usually like pretty carb friendly between like the way they do the vegetables. And
they're very filling meals. And we're not. I'm not saying go out there and do home chef. I'm saying that because of home chef though, I'm getting a collection of recipes that are fairly healthy.
Also portion controlled.
And again, trust me, we don't leave it. There are times
it is big.
Yeah, when you leave a meal and you're like,
starving over here.
I think I could use a little bit more food. But they're very big on the green vegetables or the squash and stuff like that. But there are ways to prep this stuff. Brussels sprouts, I never thought I would fucking eat, and the shit rocks from them because they roast it and I've learned. Oh, okay. They have garlic salt. I'm not going to use garlic salt. I'm going to use one of my garlic spice mixes that I have, so I don't have to add the sodium because, again, I don't need the sodium in my life. I get it enough incidentally. A big change for me. It was almost something to cry over, but since they picked up the garbage and recycling today, I don't have that ability. I had my mini keg, my 64-ounce pressurized beer tender, whatever you want to call it.
Yay!
That I bought in the midst of this pandemic when I guess my heart was beginning to have heart failure, and I was retaining water. So I didn't drink too much beer because even then I was like trying to control fluids, even though I didn't know what was going on. And I accumulated all these 64-ounce mini kegs of beer, and now that I know my health issues, I don't want the carbs. All right, and I've noticed I can drink Corona Premier or Corona Light or Mick Ultra, and I'm not going to spike my blood sugar, right? And that's huge. But this stuff was spiking my blood sugar, so we drained the mini kegs, and I got rid of it. And in the replacement, because of Black Friday, I got the new Keurig machine. So yes, I'm replacing my beer with something I put tea into.
Teetotaler.
I drink my tea, and I will occasionally put my Winter Jack in it. So I get my spiced whiskey. But it's all about finding healthier substitutions. And I'm going to stress something. My opinion, they don't necessarily have to be, quote, healthy. They have to be healthier than your current habits.
Right. It's a progression.
Yes. You know.
Moving that bar on the continuum just a little tad over.
Yeah. If you
closer to where you want to be.
If you are a smoker, and a lot of people say, oh, well, the best way to quit smoking is to go cold turkey. Maybe for some people.
But generally, people
the addiction
change their patterns around it.
Right.
I knew I didn't want to smoke in my apartment because oh man, I smelled my stuff at work. And I was like, oh wow, that client must have been smoking crack all night or whatever. And, I'm smelling like this bad smell on my clothes from just smoking so much. And, it was my stuff that smelled so smoky and nasty. And so I decided not to smoke in my apartment anymore. So when that was done, and as it was getting colder, it made it easier to decrease the amount. And then,
Right.
you didn't crave it so much, and you didn't, want it as much. And then, I started to break my attachment to it.
Because your attachment to these things are both physical and
Mental.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I have found hop tea is a great substitute for my desire for beer, which I actually like to taste the hops. Not overwhelming hops, but I like a moderate amount of hops. And hop tea hits that for me. It's a beautiful thing, actually.
It's something too, like with smoking, I've been talking about this a lot lately with clients and stuff. When you smoke, you breathe with intention. You take, you inhale, you draw in a deep breath to take the nicotine in, but then, you let it go a little more slowly so that, you make sure that you get the effect. And we like to see the smoke slowly coming out of our mouths. You know what I mean? So, being able to use breathing techniques like that, like making your exhales longer than your inhales, helps to place the body in a relaxation mode so that, and that's the function of cigarettes. It's interesting because people tend to say, oh, I need a cigarette because it's just going to relax me. It's the breathing that relaxes us. The cigarettes we're taking in like stimulant,
right. Nicotine,
tobacco is a stimulant.
Nicotine is a stimulant. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and that's right. So that's a technique that I'm sure there are videos on YouTube that we can refer to people to. Maybe in 2021, when Rach starts.
Even if
yoga.
It's that you just choose like a certain amount. Like people, if you're not like a big like pranayama breathing person, like fancy into breathing techniques, it's just a matter of taking it in for 4 and letting it out for 6. So something like this, like and counting seconds for your inhale and counting the 6 for your exhale.
These are little steps. I remember I went to physical therapy for sciatica, lower back issues, and one of the things they taught me was to tuck your tummy in to strengthen those stomach muscles. But it's an exercise that you can do anywhere. You can do it standing, you can do it sitting, you can do it while you're driving. You can pretty much do it anytime except when you're walking. So it's just pulling in that tummy. You hold it for a second and a half. You let it out, doing sets of 5. And you're going to strengthen your midsection. It's going to have an effect of lowering if you have like lower back issues, it'll strengthen your stomach muscles, which will help your lower back. But additionally, if you are like, and I'm going to make a statement that I have not done a survey for, but if you are like what I consider to be the majority of gamers, the majority of people in our hobby, you're carrying around a little extra baggage in the belly.
Where are you tucking your tummy? Sorry.
Okay, well here.
Is it low here?
Well, now, Rach.
Or is it higher here?
It's here. So I'm tucking it in right around the belly button.
Belly button.
My belly button's right here. Okay. You can't see any of this, folks. I hope you're not laughing.
I'm feeling his belly button.
So I'm tucking it in.
Oh, I feel it. Okay. Mine's harder to feel.
But you can do this. And I have a couple of friends that have done this that I spoke to them about it. And this is something that, I learned in physical therapy, but apparently it's fairly common knowledge that this is a great way. And it's going to make your tummy look a little bit smaller. I'm not going to say it's going to knock an inch off your waist. And then that area,
too, like there's a lot of energy centers, they call it banda that control. They're locks that control the flow of energy through the body, and so when you engage like around there, where you were engaging it, sends energy up.
So, Rach, you do realize that in 2021, when you start doing like a monthly Zoom for members of the community, you might have to like throw some of this other information in there.
Yeah, definitely. It all goes together because, it's not just about postures and, making certain forms. It's about your breath goes so much along with it.
And to make Rachel's Zoom classes more entertaining for the listeners and viewers, I am sure I'll be behind her trying to imitate what she is doing, and you can be very well entertained when I extremely fail.
Nobody fails at it. You do what you're able to do.
Well, all I'm saying is I'm willing to give it a shot.
You start somewhere. That's all it is.
And I'd like to see our listeners, our viewers, do the same. Folks, we are in the midst of COVID world, and we told you last week the protections that we took and put in place for Thanksgiving.
We had to make some decisions about Christmas.
Yes.
With my family, because they're in Connecticut and they're seeing a major upswing in their COVID cases. And, we were talking about, the fact that both Eric and I are at high risk, if we were to contract the virus. And so, it's a painful decision, to sort of like, decide that you're not going to see each other because, they go out, both of them, go out to work. The kids have been home, but they still go and play with other kids, like in their block and stuff. So we kind of have to be careful about that. So, we came to the conclusion that we would FaceTime Christmas morning and send the gifts this year.
Right. We're using Macy's and Amazon. Folks, it doesn't mean that you're not going to be giving gifts. Doesn't mean that you cannot give affection and love to your extended family or your family. But you have to take actions that will keep yourself, your loved ones, your family, your friends, your community safe. Okay? COVID is real. Are the percentages that they put out there necessarily percentages that it is? I'm not a scientist. I'm an amateur statistician, having done statistics for the department, the NYPD, for a number of years. And when you tell me that, 12 million have tested positive in the United States, but they suspect as many as 8 times more have been infected with the virus, well, then you're giving me numbers of people that are sick compared to those tested, not the numbers that you think are out there. So does that mean that you should shut our world down? I don't know. But for people like Rach and I, yes. I mean, I'm high risk. And I'm going to tell you, as a gamer, again, no one statistics. When they say, all right, if you're going to have to roll, you're going to have to fill your saving throw 3 times in a row for that poison to kill you, because it's very weak. 1, 1, 1. Holy fuck! You have to roll natural 1 3 times. I just rolled a natural 1 3 fucking times. Well, in a game, right? Your character's dead. In real life, it could be you. Somebody always wins Mega. Somebody always wins Powerball. Even astronomical odds are legit, right? And if you are at a higher risk, take precautions. That's just common sense. Just my view of it. I'm not asking others to hunker down and hide at home.
But it's not for everybody,
right?
Some people can be out there without consequence, and don't have as much contact with high risk people.
Right. But if you
Do
are
you?
right, if you are at high risk, take the precautions to keep yourself safe. By keeping yourself safe, you're keeping your loved ones safe. That's the way I see it. Folks, as always, be safe, be well. God bless. And when I say God bless, I'm also going to throw this out to members of our community. I know it's been a challenging year. A number of our community members have gone through health scares of cancer and congestive heart failure and other illnesses. For those of you that believe in a higher being, pray for the people in our community. For those of you who don't, you know what? Take a moment or two to have some good thoughts for the people that could use your good thoughts.
Just give them loving kindness.
The universe cares. We care. All right. So our hearts and our prayers go out to all those in these stressful times. All right, folks. God willing, I'll be back again tomorrow. Oh, and tomorrow, for those gamers that are listening, I have 24 sets of $7-piece RPG dice sets from Dollar Tree. I am going to do a live stream where I not really unbox, I just unpackage a few of these dice sets and tell you what you get for $1. So I got a case of them 24. So there you go.
Is this one warped or is that just a color variation?
I think that just a color variation. They kind of get that marbleized look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm not saying that they're not perfect, but it's not. I think the imperfections have to do with some of the inking, but we'll discuss that tomorrow. All right, folks. Laters.
Oh, that yellow on the white is hard to see.